Good morning, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today is the day that we talk tech with the Tech Divas. And we have Miss Francine Gregory in the studio. We are so happy to have her here. Francine is a real estate entrepreneur and tech diva, and she always comes to us with something exciting about this week in tech history. Also, we'll be joined later by Miss Terry Johnson online, all the way from New York City. And hopefully, we'll hear from Scope Media with Dr. Tachi, all the way from Florida. So, with that, we're going to get this day started. And we hope you'll sit back, relax, and enjoy the conversation. Oh, how you doing this morning, Miss Francine?
I am doing really, really well. And everybody
Good.
live on Clubhouse. Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was
How you
on
doing
and
in the clubhouse this morning? And all of you
was
watching live and on the replay. We hope you will enjoy this program. We know we always bring something new every Friday. All righty, what's up?
okay. So this day in tech history.
Mm-hmm.
Uh I'm going to talk about this young man. I guess he's a young man. His name is Marcel Brown. He is the one who started the this day in tech history. Um,
Mm-hmm.
he is a budding entrepreneur, started his first day as a full-time self-employed professional um, on April 15th, 2002. And he's the one who puts out these different stories that goes back into tech history, which is where we do our tech history. So thank you, Marcel.
Mm-hmm.
So now, April 16th, 1977, on the same day at the first annual West Coast Computer Fair, both the Apple II and the Commodore PET 2000 personal computers are introduced. Ironically, Commodore had previously rejected purchasing the Apple II from Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, deciding to build their own computers. Both computers used the same processor, the MOS 6502, but the companies had two different design strategies, and it showed on this day. Apple wanted to build computers with more features at a higher price point. Commodore wanted to sell less feature-filled computers at a lower price point. The Apple II had color, graphics, and sound selling for $1,298. The Commodore PET only had a monochrome display and it was
Mm-hmm.
priced at $795. Note,
Okay.
it was very difficult. Oh, this guy, he's saying it was difficult to find a picture of the two of them. Um, but here's the deal. It wasn't that much difference between the 1298 and the 795.
Well, it was a $500 difference.
Yeah, but you got color, graphics, and sound.
I know.
Whereas on the other one, you only got the monochromic display. I'm like,
So
okay, wait.
well, maybe they were going on after the government contract because you get the lowest bidder.
So, and here's my thought. You know that a MacBook Air is starting around that same 1298
Mm-hmm.
today.
Today.
So that was a pretty pricey investment back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Then you think about inflation and everything. What was it really like? Maybe 2000 something. What was it really worth in today's dollars? I don't know.
Right. But we got it all. It talks to us. We got stuff. It does everything except make your coffee in the morning.
And then Carlos says his Max Mini is like $600.
Today, and it's a better
Mm-hmm.
computer than back in the day. Hey, Carlos. Okay, so April 18th, 1983, the Osborne Computer Company officially announced the Osborne Executive Portable Computer. the follow-up to its extremely successful Osborne 1. This is the computer that, according to lore, took down the company, known as the Osborne effect. The legend is that by leaking the announcement of this computer earlier in the year, dealers canceled all orders for the
Mhm.
Osborne 1, effectively destroying the company's cash flow and hindering operations going forward. This resulted in the cancellation of the company's IPO and eventually to bankruptcy. The reality may not be so simple, but the research shows that the Osborne effect may have been a contributing cause to the company's demise, along with the rise of competitors, the introduction of the IBM PC, and mismanagement by the company's president brought in by investors to provide adult supervision.
Oh my goodness.
Mm.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, and I'm going to make this a short story.
Okay.
April 18th, 1986, newspapers reported that IBM's Model 3090 mainframe has become the first commercial computer to use a megabit memory chip, 4 times the storage capacity of the then current generation of the 256 kilobit chips. To give contents to that amount of storage, it was reported that 1 megabit chip could store over 1 million bits of data, which translated to about 100 double spaced typewritten pages. At the time,
Mhm.
most personal computers were still using the 64 kilobit memory chips. Hmm.
Wow. That's they were putting out the data.
Right.
100 pages.
It's a lot, back in the day. Um, I want to see if I want to do this. Zoom our lens. Okay, this would be interesting to Carlos. And Carlos, you can be our fact checker on this one. Zoom lenses come to TV. The first public demonstration of a prototype Zoom R lens is conducted inside Studio 3H at NBC's Rockefeller Plaza headquarters in New York City.
Mhm.
Invented by Dr. Frank G. Back and promoted by investor, film, and television producer Jerry Fairbanks, the Zoom R lens would become the first commercially successful zoom lens. A version for film cameras would be first used by Paramount later that year to cover the 1947 World Series for
Wow.
newsreel production. The ability to use zoom lenses allowed for less expensive TV productions and also made television sports broadcasts more interesting and feasible. By the
Yeah.
end of the decade, Zoom R lenses were in use in nearly 1/3 of television stations in the United States at the time. As new TV stations were popping up quickly during this era, the fact that by 1957, more than half of the TV stations then in operation owned Zoom R lenses was even more impressive.
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
They
so
got on that technology, didn't they?
Zoom lenses. So it started somewhere, right?
Mhm.
We just take it for granted that we can zoom in. Okay.
We do, even on our phones. It's like I may be sitting up here in the Bluetooth, but I can find my kid on that stage at the graduation.
So there. Okay, I'm gonna just do this one. April 20th, 1940. Vladimir Zworykin holds a public. He was research director at RCA. Holds a public demonstration for the first practical
Wow.
electron microscope. While the electron microscope originally had been invented in 1931, the first model was only able to produce a magnification of 400 times. RCA's model was the first to create a magnification of 100,000 times, which was truly the first practical application of an electron microscope.
Wow.
This early model was 10 feet high and weighed half a ton.
Phew. Oh my goodness. Well, Carlos has a comment about the zoom lens.
Okay.
He says the zoom was expensive. In television, it cost over $1 million. I had no really.
Yeah.
I,
Back in the day, that stuff was, yeah.
wow. I was impressed by that comment, Carlos. I had no idea it was that expensive for me to be able to see a good ball game.
Hmm. Interesting.
Hmm.
Okay. And my last story, the Tandy, April 21st, 1988, the Tandy
Hmm.
Corporation holds a press conference to announce plans to build clones of IBM's PS2 system computers. The conference comes soon after IBM's announcement that it would license patents on key PC technologies. IBM made this decision as they realized they were losing control of the IBM compatible PC market and
Hmm.
could make money licensing the technologies. Within 5 years, IBM clones will become more popular than the original IBM machines themselves. Eventually, IBM would leave the PC manufacturing business altogether, selling their PC division to Lenovo in
Mm.
2005.
I had a Lenovo. Hmm.
Mhm.
Remember that? Well, Carlos wants you to know that Zoom for television is still expensive now. So thank you, Carlos. I thought maybe the price would have gone down significantly, but evidently it's still expensive.
Okay, so I would like to do one other thing. That
Hmm.
was all. Um,
For this tech history. Hmm.
that was tech history. I want to do something where it's now not tech history. What's happening? A little bit of future tech. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yes, something
Okay.
current.
So where am I? Let me go here. Um, da, 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 da. I am looking for this article. I was reading it this morning. Oh, here it is. Okay. So this is a game that we're going to play this morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know. Let me see if it's in here. We want to, hey, going fishing. Okay. 3 out of the following news stories are true, and
Mm.
one was made up. Can you spot the odd one out? And no cheating by going online and looking.
Okay.
Okay, so story number one. The family of Formula One icon Michael Schumacher is planning to sue a German tabloid over the publication of an AI generated interview with the racer.
Hmm.
That's so either is that the true one or is that one made up? Okay, we're going to ask you to, so there'll be 4 different stories and you'll tell us which one you think is the made up story in the chat. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's story number one. Story number two, Reddit will soon charge companies looking to train AI on the website's various subreddit communities.
I'm not sure I understand what they're talking about, but okay.
Reddit will soon charge companies looking to train AI on the website's various subreddit communities. Okay, so that's story number two.
Mm-hmm.
Story number three, users have tricked Discord's AI chatbot into sharing the recipe for napalm
Mm.
through the grandma exploit, where a user asks the chatbot to role play as, you guessed it, their grandma.
Mm.
So that's story number three. Story number four. The U.S. Geological Survey has enlisted the help of AI to chart and predict when the next big earthquake will strike. So, which of these stories is not true? Which of these stories is made up? Number one, the family of Formula One icon Michael Schumacher planning to sue a German tabloid. Story number 2, Reddit will soon charge companies looking to train AI on their websites. Story number 3, users have tricked Discord's AI chatbot into sharing the recipe for napalm. And story number 4, the U.S. Geological Survey has enlisted the help of AI to chart and predict the next big earthquake. Give us some music, Terry, and let's find out. Put your answer in the chat. Which one is the fake story? 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Hmm. Do we get to play?
Yeah, we get to play too, but you can't go online and look.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna say 3 off of what I heard.
I'm going to say 2.
I'm saying number 3. Terralina says number 2.
Number 2.
Okay, so Carlos, you want to? Oh, Carlos is not over there. Okay. Anybody else want to play? Okay. Are we ready to reveal the answer?
Yes, we are.
It is a true story that Michael Schumacher is planning to sue the German tabloid because they used AI generated interview with the racer. And this TJ talked about how this is going to become a problem when people
For real.
Weird stuff, man. You don't just make up a story. Anyway, they did. And Reddit will soon charge. I learned that from TJ this week. Reddit will soon charge companies looking to train
really?
their AI websites.
Okay.
And users have tricked Discord's AI chatbot. That is true.
Really?
To share a recipe for napalm. It is true.
Napalm and meth, I think. Yeah.
Yes, and meth.
Mm-hmm.
So the story that is not true is that the U.S. Geological Survey has enlisted the help of AI to chart and predict when the next big earthquake will strike.
Wow. Wouldn't that make sense, though? Okay.
All right. Well,
Use the powers for good, people.
So that is your week in tech history.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much, Fred. We enjoyed that. I enjoyed that little interaction there. I thought I knew what was going on. Evidently not. Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, guys, I've got a few stories for you today. I hope some of them will make you smile. Uh, I want to talk about the fact that this young man in Japan has created a craft, and it blew up on TikTok. And so we have a small video here from USA Today that I hope that we can show. Let's see if we can get in here. And
I
it's
got a
only
question. When you said blew up, did the aircraft blow up? Or
no,
did
not literally.
blow up?
No, we're not going to show people blowing up. Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
I was like,
It's a short video, and let me see if I can share this video of him. Here he is. Okay. Can you guys see that?
I can.
Okay, good. And I'm going to start the video. It doesn't have any
Spoken audio.
Yeah, so it's just him. He's got these. We'll describe it as we go. Okay. All right. So here we go. It's sort of like 4 platforms on top of 4 balloons, and each balloon has its own battery or fan that keeps these balloons blown up, and then it actually lifts him up to the ground. See, his feet are lifting up. He's putting his feet on the pedals, and he's actually airborne. I thought this was really interesting and fascinating. I would like to ride on that. I mean, he could charge me to ride on that. I take that ride, and I thought it was really, really good.
I like the fact that he put this together, and it's simple tech.
It is. It really is.
It's very simple tech, just hovering using using balloon technology. And oh, Carlos said I used to do that with a vacuum.
Exactly. Which makes sense. Yeah, I really enjoyed this video, and I thought, oh, how unique, and it's really inspiring to young inventors to
Old
take,
inventors too. Come on
yeah,
now, this is
to
good.
take what you have and sort of tinker with it, see what happens. And I liked
And
it,
right. And who knows where that might be the taxis that we'll start using.
which makes sense to just levitate and just go where you want to go. And he
And get
seemed to
up
be able
above,
to guide it. So there you go.
up and move around. And I mean, it wasn't that far off the ground, but I'm sure that if you did more air, there's still the whole dynamics of weight. He wasn't weighing that much to keep it down. So,
Hmm.
um,
Carlos says Uber Eats tech. Yeah.
right.
And think there is no fuel involved.
None.
No
It
fossil
just
fuel. No.
the electricity from the battery.
Exactly. And if that is done with sun panels, all the better. So I
Right.
wanted to share that. And then I wanted to share this um, experiment that they did in New York City, Carlos, with these robotic trash cans from
Hmm.
Columbia University. They wanted to see how it would impact people and their reactions to robotic trash cans. And so the study wasn't really about the trash cans being, you know, um, robotized, I guess. Is that a word?
I
But
don't know.
it was more about the people's reaction. So let's play this video. This video comes from, I think it comes from the university or from a TV station. Let's see. Where is this? Robotic trash cans. Let's share this. And I take it you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to turn on the sound. Turn off my mic.
When we did this project, we were actually hoping to roboticize chairs and tables. Literally, our partners, in the business improvement district said, "Are you kidding? It's New York. You have to do trash."
Yeah. Yeah. There's trash here. Yes. Yes. Oh, good boy. Oh, there you go. Oh, good boy. Oh, that's recycling. Oh, you're a bad boy. You don't know what you're doing.
That's creepy. Creepy.
People are concerned about the price of the robot because they really think it's like part of the garment. They're curious about the budget, like how expensive these things are. And the second concern they have is, will this replace jobs?
We're not trying to sell a trash robot. We're trying to understand how people interact with robot objects. Before we do the deployment, we watch how the people who clean the streets actually do their work. The work they do is incredibly nuanced and difficult, and very unlikely to be automatable without completely restructuring the infrastructure of the street.
There you go.
Which is not something that I think we are advocating for.
Okay.
What did you think about that?
Okay, so the robot comes up to you and encourages you to put the trash in there. Does it know when you're finished with it or not?
Well, the robot, it's really being controlled by remote control. So somebody is somewhere operating the trash can. You know what I mean? So
I'm with the first lady. This is creepy.
can you see if you finish your popsicle and this can comes up to you, like, and you're like, oh.
I didn't ask you to come.
Exactly. Carlos says, I heard about this. I expect a few being used to place terrorist bombs. Oh my God, people are not smart in New York City. This is a dangerous idea. He said it would come up to me and I would probably drop my date in the can. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it would freak me out too.
Now, if I called it over, maybe that'll be a different thing, but not, you just don't come showing up thinking I'm ready.
And the first thing I'm going to do is look in there to see, what's really going on. You know what I mean?
And then, okay, so here's another item that it causes us not to move. So we're sitting there and we want the trash can to come to us.
Oh, you mean another reason not to move our bodies?
Instead of us getting up and walking the trash to the trash can.
And what if several people are calling for the trash can at the same time? I don't know. Would it confuse the trash can? Would it start rolling over?
In one of those shots, it was the trash can was, both of them were trying to fight to get to the person that was putting the trash in, and one can was like, no, me. Okay.
me.
Or what about this one? I only take bottles. Well, I only take bags, and I only take food because in California we're sorting everything. So one may only take food waste, one may only take bottles, one may only take. I don't know. But I thought it was a bizarre experiment. But the real experiment was about us. You know what I mean? How we're going to react, which I thought was interesting.
It's the creepy cat syndrome.
Oh, yeah, with the clock that followed you around. Followed you around the room. Okay, well, I have one more thing that I want to share with you. Remember we had the video we showed about how they are able to print blood.
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, we showed where they could 3D print blood, and they were talking about different blood types and how this was going to eventually help blood banks. Well, today I want to show you what's going on at Aspect Biosystems. It's advancing. So I'll just put it that way. Okay, let me share my screen and see if we can get this done. This actually is they sent me to their YouTube video. This is a Canadian company, and the name of the company is Aspects Biosystems, and they've started a partnership potentially worth more than $2.6 billion with this Danish company to develop bioprinted tissue therapeutics. Okay, so here we go. Can you guys see this?
Aspect Biosystems is a Canadian biotechnology company building living 3D tissue solutions for the life science industry. Aspect's proprietary lab-on-a-printer platform is one of the most advanced tissue engineering technologies in the world, capable of rapidly 3D printing human cells with biological scaffolds to generate complex living tissues. Developing a useful 3D tissue begins with defining how the tissue should function, then conceptualizing how to construct the tissue to display the desired functions. Generating a biologically relevant 3D structure is essential to recreating lifelike function. Once the tissue structure is defined, the 3D bioprinting protocol is designed to enable the rapid and accurate fabrication of the living tissue. Aspect's unique lab-on-a-printer microfluidic technology enables switching between different cell types and scaffold components on the fly. The living fibers we generate are deposited layer by layer to rapidly and accurately build heterogeneous tissues with well-defined regions. In order to recreate biological function, the bioprinted structure has to be grown for several days in specialized culture conditions. During this maturation process, the printed cells form interconnected networks, resulting in a lifelike 3D tissue. The tissues we build have highly physiological functions. Here is a 3D bioring made of airway smooth muscle cells, contracting in response to histamine and relaxing in response to salbutamol, recreating an asthma attack in a dish. The highly skilled team of engineers and biologists at Aspect Biosystems are enabling the production of customized tissues on demand for disease research, regenerative medicine, and drug development. Aspect Biosystems, human tissues on demand. Contact us to learn more about accessing our unique bioprinting technology.
Okay, right now they're looking at um, different structures that can help fight diabetes, and I've forgotten what the other one is, but I know they're primarily focused on helping, diabetics and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else to say. I was just like, okay, we are now able to
Yeah,
find out.
you mean like the gene editing? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're look
Hmm.
for that to be a big thing in the next couple years. Like, for sickle cell,
Exactly.
other blood type things. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's amazing. I'm amazed. I'm not surprised.
Oh, diabetes or obesity, which I thought
Okay.
was, like, what can they do about obesity? But
How about
Well,
okay?
go ahead.
How about not eat so much?
I was gonna
well,
say this.
here's the thing: our bodies can do these. Our bodies are doing these things every day.
But
You
see, a
know.
lot of it, if the okay, yes, there's situations where you have diabetes and everything, but a lot of it can be controlled with diet and exercise, which
True.
it seems like, and it's Americans, because when you go to Europe, they don't have as much problems as we do, and I've heard lots of
Well.
stories about people from other countries that come here and they're amazed by why everybody is so large and why
Mm,
you eat so much and everything is full of sugar, and those are the things we had to teach ourselves to do. Like, just personally, I don't we don't buy soda. I mean, I don't drink
mm,
soda in like years, and I try to teach my daughter that, like, watch the salt, watch the sugar, because in our family we've got that history, and I don't want you to be a part of that. So,
mhm.
but there are situations where you'll get diabetes and it has to be medically controlled. I understand that, but a lot of it is, like you said, stop
Preventable.
eating.
It's because the habits that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then when you got burger places and everybody is presenting this stuff to you,
Yeah,
you don't.
that's why, that's the marketing, like
Hmm.
McDonald's and all those that's the marketing. They make
Hmm.
the burger look delicious. They all of those things, and we're not saying not have a burger, just don't have one every day. Don't have fried
Exactly.
chicken every day. Don't fry. And I know a lot of people going, they don't want to deny themselves or whatever, but I'm just
Mhm.
saying, do you want to be healthy and live longer? Do you want to, live in the moment of having the sugary, sweet,
Mm.
snacky, fried thing that's bad for your heart and bad for your health?
So here's the other thing. My other
Mhm.
take: Frankenstein would be real happy with this technology right now.
For real, for real. But
He
I'm like,
definitely would.
what? He wouldn't have to go get. Remember, Young Frankenstein, where he.
Yes, I love that movie. Yeah.
I was, I'm like, he wouldn't have to worry about whether the brain was good or not. He could just go in there and create it. Okay, that is
well,
my thought.
here's the deal too. Remember now, we are exporting a lot of our eating habits to other countries. They have seen an uptick in diabetes
Yeah,
in
yeah.
China
Mhm,
since the
mhm.
invasion of our fast food.
Yep,
So,
McDonald's,
this is
KFC.
not just an American thing.
No.
We're exporting this.
But it's still preventable
It's
in any country.
Exactly.
And if we decide that we won't have to kowtow to the marketing companies, we don't have to go to fast food. We don't have to do any of that.
And see, the thing is, the fast food has the salad. They have the salad. They have the healthy option.
Mm-hmm.
Who
But if
takes
we
care?
don't choose the healthy
Yeah,
option,
it's
Right.
choices. We're making choices.
And I'm not perfect. If I want a burger, I'll go. I mean, I haven't been to McDonald's in a while, but I was like, I want a quarter pounder.
Mhm.
Get it? But I'm just saying, it's something you don't. That's not your diet every day. It shouldn't be your diet every day. But
that's a treat.
mhm,
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah, when I was growing up, McDonald's was a treat. We didn't get to go to McDonald's and go
nope,
through and get breakfast and then
nope.
come back for lunch and then get something for we didn't.
I
That
was
wasn't
just
thing.
telling somebody the other day. I said, we were talking about it, I said I went to church I loved to go to church as a kid because it was like I would go with my cousins and stuff, and because we would go to McDonald's afterwards. I knew my mother was not going to take me to McDonald's ever. Like, no. So it was like, go to church. We need some money for the collection plate, and here's some money. Go to McDonald's. But other than that, it's just choices.
Yeah.
And the choices still come down to us because I can see that people will take this and use it for not good.
Right. To not exactly. That's our point, that they won't diet and exercise and not, I'm not even saying extreme, just watch what you eat. Why do I have to do that when I can take this pill, this thing, this medical whatever, and it's going to fix my problems? And that's not how we should live, because we're not supposed to live.
Well, I don't know who will be able to afford it either, because every time something new comes out, it's
but the price will go down eventually. It's just at the beginning, it'll be very expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going with the the movie concept. Somebody will take this and weaponize it, and we will have issues with somebody tweaking out because they got something injected into them.
And then as insurance companies become involved, what are they willing or not willing to pay for?
Exactly. That's another part of it.
The aim is to replace, repair, or supplement biological functions in the body to treat conditions such as type 1 diabetes, which results in the destruction of cells in the pancreas. And we know, the pancreas is essential for doing insulin.
But see, here's the thing: we don't want to, as humans, we don't want to do the things that are good for us or right. Even if you
let me ask you this: if you own the insurance company and you have hundreds of thousands of people coming to you saying, "I want this treatment," now that I have this condition.
But they're not going to pay it. Some of them won't.
Are you going to say are you going to say because you were reckless, we're not paying?
They're doing that now. They're doing that now. If you do this, and this, they're saying, well, you pay higher, or there's things for that now, to where the insurance companies are like, what is it, amateurized?
Yeah.
So they're like, if you're in this for smoking and alcohol, they ask you questions. Have you smoked in the last year? They ask you those things because they're going to put you in a higher category where you pay more. They're already doing that now.
Right. Carlos has comments. He says, in caveman days, we did berries, kind of like pills. Weaponized? Has my darkness affected the panel? No, and I'm serious, though, because somebody is going to do something like right now they hijack pacemakers. Come on. Because they are digitally, because your doctor knows what's happening with your pacemaker or whatever. Somebody can hijack that.
You mean hack into it?
Yeah, everything's hackable.
And I'm like, okay, so if you are a person of renown and they want to, see, the television and TV don't help us too much, but because somebody can mess with that and mess with your pacemaker.
But see, the thing is now with that, like somebody like Bill Gates, Elon Musk, they're gonna be on a different level of healthcare. So they're not gonna get the regular person's pace. They're gonna get this is the special person's pacemaker.
because somebody will start playing puppet with you. You know, like okay,
because they can afford it. Because Elon will say, "What what's the chance of blah 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 blah?" Well, give me the highest one on the list. That's going to be less chance to hackable, which that's not going to be affordable for us. But
For the
there just
common
like
price.
with phones, there's different types of phones. There's a special kind of phone for very wealthy people. I forgot the name of it. It's not an iPhone. It's some kind of phone. I forgot. Is it Vera something? But that's a lot of people don't know that very wealthy people have a different type of phone.
Okay, and so here's the other part of that. Those people like Zuckerberg and Elon, they're taking care of themselves healthy. They're keeping themselves healthy. They're not doing the everyday diet like everybody else.
Well, Carlos says, I do meal replacement shakes that also have a ton of plant-based nutrients. So as we learn better, hopefully we do better.
Yeah, that's some of us who are not trying to take over the world.
Well, I speaking of taking over the world, I want you to know that I saw a headline where Elon is trying to start an AI company. So, okay.
He was part of an AI company that he walked away from, but okay.
Okay, so now he wants it back. You know how it is. Break up to make up. That's all we do. And that's what I got for you guys today.
The phone I'm talking about is Virtu. The phone is $6,600. It's Virtu, VRTU. It comes with concierge service and all that other stuff.
Oh, okay. For
so you got other people running your stuff.
There's several phones, but that's the one I can remember. That it has. It costs like $6,000, $10,000. It has concierge service, so when you travel and you want something, there's a button on it and it's connected to a concierge and they get what you want. But there's several phones. So
wow.
So I'm just saying that is kind of the thing, that when you're in that echelon of tax bracket or your income or whatever, you get things differently that the regular folks don't get. So they're going to get health care that we don't get.
How much is it?
Like you said, that's going on right now, TJ.
Okay, so let me ask the question. How are we spelling that? VRTU?
VERTU, Virtu.
Virtu.
That's one that I remember. It's been out for a long time, but I saw a website. There's others. There's other phones. But that's just the one that I remember as a phone that is not, you have to be in a certain you have to have a certain portfolio. I won't say tax bracket, but a certain amount in your portfolio, and your private wealth management company buys it, and you have a family office and that kind of wealth. So you don't get, you could get an iPhone, but they get these phones. And I remember Virtu was one of them that it's been around for years.
I was not aware of this, TJ. Thank you.
Oh no!
You didn't know?
No. Look.
Yeah.
Why does it look like instead they got one look like a BlackBerry? I'm like, why? But okay.
Because some people want the buttons, and
people are comfortable with that.
They have one that's called Constellation at $6,600. It's made of titanium. It's covered in premium calf leather, and it has a sapphire crystal display. And I know it has a button. So they changed it from concierge to life and certainty services. So you get a connection to exclusive events and things.
And I can see where this could also be a collector thing. You know how people collected Swiss watches back in the
right. And I'm looking on here, and
so the Rolex of phones.
Yeah, and I'm still looking for
how. And there's more. They go up to like $40,000.
Yeah, that ain't happening, but okay. And then because you don't see, I guess you don't need to make phone calls or something, because there is no, from what I'm looking at on the pictures, you're not dialing nobody. You just push a button and they do all the work for
Yeah,
you.
okay, they're still calling it concierge, 24-hour private butler concierge service. There's all kind of things that go when you buy this phone. I just
Okay.
remember reading about it a while ago.
Hmm.
So there you go. And then I think I learned of that there's a magazine or a publication called The Rob Report.
I
Mhm.
remember the
You heard
Rob
of that?
report.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I've heard of
that's
the
why
Rob report.
I think I found it from there.
Okay.
I'm not doing the one that's BlackBerry. I got away from BlackBerry for a reason. Okay.
Yeah, so the Rob Report is a publication that they cater to uber wealthy people, and they talk about watches and phones and traveling and buying a
Mhm.
yacht and those kind of things. So if you talk about buying yachts, that's your, but you already know about the Rob Report if you're buying a yacht.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just still, there are like no places to like dial a number is my thing on the,
It has
not
a
smart.
button, yeah, but there's a button on it for concierge service. I think there's
Yeah, for that, but
depending
I'm
on.
talking about, I
Mhm.
just want to call Terry. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to call the butler. I just
Well,
want
you
to,
have an assistant for that, or several
no,
assistants.
I want to call, make a phone call
You don't
myself.
make calls. You tell,
Oh,
someone, you just say what you want to the air, and whoever's standing around out your many assistants will make the call for you. I want to call Bill Gates, and they make it happen. So you don't need to dial
hmm.
the
Mhm.
phone. That's
Well,
where they are.
you can buy this phone on Amazon.
Yeah, you can buy this phone.
I'm like, okay.
The question is, can you keep up the payments for the services?
Yeah, and that think that would be the
You know what I mean? How much is the plan? Is the service plan?
right,
Yeah,
because
so
then you got whole
yeah. So they said the
there's
screen of a Virtu phone is made of 130 karat sapphire and it cannot break.
Mm.
So it's the materials that go into the phone, it's the services that go with the phone, and that's what you're paying for. So
mm, yeah, so then you still need to have a you know,
oh, it has a
AT,
touch screen. I see this with a touch screen.
T-Mobile, you still got to have the
Yeah, you still gotta have a service, but I don't know if they have their own service. Like maybe they don't
Mm.
use T-Mobile, maybe they use Bill Gates, whatever Bill Gates used. That's what's his name? Amazon guy.
oh, Bezos. Yeah.
Bezos. They don't use what we use. They
Well, I
use
understand.
right.
I'm looking like, okay, maybe I want to buy one. Who knows?
There you go.
Yeah. So
All right. So that's all I have, guys. I'm glad we stimulated some conversation, and I'm going to put you in the hands of more competent individuals. Miss Terry Johnson online. Oh my goodness.
That's just interesting. It's so interesting.
what's the phone?
No, just
Oh.
yeah, the phone and yeah.
The
What
fact
you
that
mean there's a level of service that we'll never get unless we're Oprah? That kind of
Mhm.
And
Oprah
there's
and above.
sometimes and there's some people who won't even, I mean, they may use it and they may not, and you know.
Mm-hmm. But I've just brought that phone up to say that there are things that if you're not aware of,
it's
that
a
those
class.
people, Tyler Berry, the people in the Billion and Up Club, they get different things. And even if they're in the billionaire club, there's levels in the billionaire club because Tyler
Mhm.
Perry's not going to get the same thing as Larry Ellison and those guys or Elon Musk that has more billions than them. So
Mm.
there's levels to the, like they said, there's levels to this thing. But it's just interesting to know that is there. And I know a lot of people get angry at that kind of thing. Like, why would they want a $50,000 phone? Why don't they do it? Well, it's their money. They can do what they want. They should. And some of them do give to charity and, look out for people. But there's no rule that says that they have to give their money to the less fortunate. They should, but
And
I don't
some
get
of
mad
them,
at that.
and some of them probably do. You just don't know it.
You
And
don't
then,
know. Yeah.
and then you know,
And
why do you have to buy a pair of tennis shoes that cost you $5,000?
And
exactly.
Well, I was just going to say this, that compared to most third world countries, everybody in this country is extremely wealthy.
Right. They don't, but they don't see that. They
Mm,
just see the lack of what they don't have. Like for instance, this week, the director of Beyonce's charity is called Be Good.
mhm,
BEYGO. So she was on this week to talk about, I forgot what it was. I need to see it. But I was like, a lot of people don't know she has a whole organization for charity. That
mhm.
they were the director was saying when she goes on tour, there's all these things that they do for the community of the city they're in. They hold this fundraisers, they
Nice.
give away free stuff, they give away free tickets, they give away all kind of stuff. So I mean, if you there's people that look at her and say, well, she's rich, she should do, whatever. I'm like, she's doing that. You just don't pay attention to the positive stuff. You only hear the negative stuff about her or
Mhm,
Oprah or this person or that person. You only hear the negative. But the ones that are doing good, like Tyler Perry's always doing good stuff.
mhm,
Uh,
mhm.
So
it, we got someone else. Dr. Tachi, are you in the room?
I am.
Oh,
oh,
okay,
she made
cool.
it good.
I just can't see you, so that's a clubhouse thing, but I hear you.
Okay, as long as you can hear me.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
cool. But
Okay.
yeah, I
I
was
didn't
like,
mean to get
I can't see you, but I hear you.
yeah.
Okay.
So we didn't mean to get off tangent. So but it was just, one of
But
those.
it's interesting still. We don't know what people are, nobody knows what you do with your money.
Right.
Exactly. And
Don't
you want to keep, most people want to keep it that way.
right. So don't police somebody else's. I don't. I'm like, be happy.
Okay.
Spread some of the knowledge to me so I can get some.
There you go.
All right. All right. So this week in social media news, let's start with Spotify.
Uh-huh.
Spotify's doing something. Yeah. Are we interested?
Yes, we are.
So Spotify has a little partnership with another because Spotify is not a social media app, but they have a partnership with a social media app that we have talked about a little bit. They were big last year, not so much this year. The app is Be Real.
Mm-hmm.
So Spotify is launching a new integration with Be Real that lets users include in their Be Real posts what they're listening to on Spotify. So Be Real encourages people to take a photo every day at a random time with their front and back camera.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? That was really hot last year. Not so much. I think the app downloads in the stores fell like 60%. So they're not really as popular as it was last year. And remember that TikTok and
Yeah.
Instagram and I think Snapchat, they all took that feature
Took that
of a
idea.
time,
Mm-hmm.
right? They took
Mm-hmm.
that feature of it's 2 p.m. Everybody in your circle take a picture and share it. I'm like, we're not doing that this year, but we're not doing that. So it's supposed to feed into authenticity, and because Instagram is so fake and the other ones are so fake, and I'm like, are you for real? Yeah. I want to make
Mhm.
an app called For Real instead of Be
Okay.
Real. So this integration is supposed to help the app add another layer of authenticity to the daily posting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what you're going to do. So you can connect your Spotify and Be Real accounts by tapping on the music icon that's in Be Real, or you can navigate to your settings and tap on music and follow the prompts to connect to Spotify. Once your accounts are connected, the app will automatically pull in the song or podcast you're listening to on Spotify. At the time you capture a Be Real, you'll see the
Oh.
cover art of the audio you're listening to at the bottom of your camera lens. If your friends' posts include audio, you'll be able to listen to a preview of what they shared. So here's the quote. Spotify was built for moments of everyday inspiration, discovery, and interactivity. It also creates the playlist for your everyday life. Be Real is designed to capture and share authentic moments in your daily life with your closest friends. Combining audio is just another layer of authentic personalization. So that's starting today. So if you use Be Real and you
Mm-hmm.
use Spotify, now you can do your Be Real. Everybody take a picture and then include your Spotify.
Okay.
So
Okay.
again, Wait, just one more. So remember that the app daily use has dropped from 61% from its peak from about 15 million in October to less than 6 million in March. This is according to analytics firm Apptopia. Okay. Do we care?
No,
No, we don't care.
because I don't even, I mean, I barely listen to Apple Music, so I'm
Mhm.
not listening to the
Mhm.
Spotify, and I'm
Mhm.
definitely not going to take a picture and then got to pick a song to go with it.
Well, it's not gonna. You don't have to pick the song. It's like whatever you're listening to in Spotify
In
at
the
the
moment.
time of, or I think if you're not listening to Spotify at the time, it might give you an option to add the last song you listen to. I don't know, because again, we talked about Be Real last year, but now I was like, it's a feature. And Be Real was like, okay, we're not charging our users and we're not going to run ads. So I said, oh,
Mhm.
you're dead. No need to learn anything more about Be Real because the app survives on daily active users and money revenue. And you're
Mhm.
not. You had the daily active users last year. Now you don't. You didn't have the money last year, and you still don't have the money. So what good are you?
Well,
So
what's the
are
point?
they? So is Spotify putting money
That's a
behind
good question.
this?
Are they running ads over there now?
I'm not sure that detail wasn't there, but
Mhm.
Spotify, skews Gen Z millennials. So if Gen Z millennials are using an app, they want to be in on the party.
Hmm.
Mm.
So that could be their thinking.
Okay.
Because
So
remember, Spotify is Gen Z and millennial.
So, TJ, when we get toward the end of your presentation, remind
Mhm.
me to ask a question about something else.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so that is Be Real on Spotify. So moving on to Snapchat. Snapchat is releasing its AI chatbot to everyone for free. Remember, they released their AI chatbot, their GPT-3 or 4 bot. Everybody likes to talk about generative AI. They put it in Snapchat Plus, which is their subscription service. Now they're
Mhm.
taking it out and giving to everyone who uses Snap.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
So this chatbot, this OpenAI powered chatbot is being added to group chats, gaining the ability to make recommendations for things like AR filters, and it will soon be able to even generate photos inside of Snapchat. Now, Snapchat has 750 monthly users. So we'll see that, but they didn't. Oh, and they have 3 million paid subscribers, which I was like, wow, they got 3 million paid subscribers. People are paying for that Snapchat, but again, this is Gen Z, so if they've got
Mhm.
mom and dad's credit card, they're shopping. So,
Yes.
um, so now my AI can be added to group chats by mentioning it with an @ symbol, and Snap will let people change the look and name of their bot with a custom Bitmoji avatar. Remember, they bought that Bitmoji platform, so they're really
Yes.
using it. So they also said that Snap plans to let people visually message my AI and receive generated responses. So an example they had a conference this week, so there's more stuff about it. But they showed it at the conference. They showed a photo of tomatoes in a garden, prompting the
Um,
bot to respond with a generated image of is this gazpacho soup. So somebody
okay.
showed a picture of tomatoes, and AI said, "Hey, make some gazpacho soup." Now, Snap CEO Evan Spiegel sees the technology as an awesome creative tool. So he says they have examples of using my AI to create bedtime stories for his children, plan a birthday
Hmm.
itinerary for his wife, Miranda Kerr. I think she's an actress or a model or something. Um, so he says more than 2 million chats per day are already happening with my AI. So this is what
Hmm.
they're doing, and the CEO he's really passionate about the project. He sees my AI as a critical part of Snap's future. So that's what's going on with that. Now they had some updates, and they had a Snap Partner Summit. So some of the
Mhm.
updates is rolling out new story features, adding updates to the Snap map. That's that you can go in the map and you can see where your friends are, but you can turn it off. So it because it's a stalkerish kind of thing. Enhancing Bitmoji. Yeah, they said that some people are using it to stalk, so you can turn it off.
Okay.
They have they're launching two new shared story modes. One is called Communities, which is a shared story for interacting with people in the same school. So some of this is, Gen Z generated teenagers, so they can talk to each other and learn. Oh, you go to the school and let's talk in Snapchat or whatever. So
Mhm.
they're also doing something called After Dark. You can add an After Dark story after 8 p.m.
Mhm.
Snapchat sees this feature as a way to relive last night's highlights, whether you were up late studying for finals or went to a concert. So this is the examples they're giving out. Only the friends who posted to the After Dark story have access to view the snaps. And let's see, there's a couple other things. They are doing an update to memories. It's called Friendship Flashbacks that will go through the snaps saved between you and a friend. It'll bring it up, and that's a nod for you to reach out to that friend. Hey, remember last and Facebook does this. I think they do this when you go in, you shared this last year. What so that's what this is
Okay.
Snapchat. Also, they're rolling out a lens that lets users virtually appear together when on a video call. And they're also going to launch a more interactive lens that yet lets users complete puzzles and play games together while they're face to face on a video call. They're also doing something new called an activity center that makes it easier for users to stay up to speed on what their friends are up to. And Bitmoji, they're doing some things in Bitmoji. They're doing an updated avatar style. They're doing something with clothing. They're bringing digital fashion from Marvel to Bitmoji. Users will be able to accessorize their Bitmoji with apparel inspired by characters in the Marvel universe.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, Snapchat says that nearly 1.7 billion Bitmojis have been created globally. It's an increase from the 1 billion figure that shared last year at the Snap Partner
Wow.
Summit. Okay, so that's what's happening with Snap.
I
Um,
heard billion.
Now, what I like about the Bitmoji thing is like, see how they're bringing in the partnership with Marvel. Also, they're doing the thing in Snap where you remember that you could do the AR try on clothing.
Yes.
They did it with Halloween costumes. They did it with a couple other things. So that's where Snap is going to go. Like if you're saying, well, where's the growth and everything because it's all Gen Z. Well, they know that their core audience is Gen Z, but they're doing other things.
Wouldn't that be great to be able to try on your prom dress?
Yeah, they could do that, but they
You
would
know,
partner with who could they partner?
whoever does the prom
Right,
place.
mhm. Mhm.
right. 'Cause I was thinking like David's Bridal, but they're going out of
They just went out of
yeah,
business.
they went out of business. So
And
maybe
if
if
they'd
they
have just
partner,
held on long enough or,
Yeah.
talk to somebody.
maybe if
Mhm.
they done made an app and did AR
If
try
they
on.
had kept up with the trend,
Yeah, that's
or
a
they
that's a key. And see how that's what I'm saying. How Snapchat is doing it. They're introducing it virtually and doing it with certain brands. So I
right.
expect to see more of that.
Mhm. Mhm.
Right. So doing I could have seen David Bridal online,
Hmm.
or through the snap where you're
Mhm.
trying on the bridal dress.
Yes,
Exactly.
right. Because see if they knew that their audience. I figured as much. Oh, hush, Sari. Hush. So if they knew their audience, they knew that women who are getting married and thinking about getting married, what do? They look at bridal magazines, right?
All the
And they
time.
imagine themselves in that dress on page. But they
Mhm.
should have done that and say, hey, you don't have to do that. Come to our app, virtually try on the dresses, but they didn't do that. So
I hope Bill
um
Lang is listening.
you a lot of these retailers have to realize you have to make it convenient for the user so they don't have to with a bridal party you got to gather everybody and they all have to go at once and everybody has to get off work or their schedule is free and so but if you do it virtually you get rid of all of that friction. See,
Mm-hmm.
so a lot of retailers aren't thinking about that, and oh well,
Making it
not here.
convenient. Mm-hmm.
All right, so WhatsApp. We haven't talked about that in a while. WhatsApp can save disappearing messages if the sender consents. So if you long press on a disappearing message in WhatsApp, it will let you save them, but only if the person who sent it says yes. So they're saying Zuckerberg is announcing a new tweak to WhatsApp burn is a service burn after reading feature, which allows the recipient to long press a message and choose to keep it. Now I don't use WhatsApp, so that's what I'm saying. Anybody that use WhatsApp, chime in. So they're saying that it keeps the sender in control of what happens to the message. That's because the sender is sent a notification when a recipient tries to save a message, and the sender can then choose if it will disappear or be saved.
Mm.
So that's what's going on with WhatsApp.
Okay. I think a lot of people, well, not a lot, but it's my understanding that works similar to Telegraph, where your stuff
Mhm.
disappears,
Mhm.
so that you can be a little more discreet or whatever it
Mhm.
is you're doing, whatever you want to call it. Uh, and so my concern is now I have to monitor my snacks to figure out if somebody trying to save the message that I didn't think about before I sent it. That
Okay.
it might
But
not
it says here that
disappear.
you'll get notified.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You'll
but
be
that don't mean
notified.
the other person is going to delete it after you. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
got on this platform for it to disappear,
Right.
Yes,
and now they
primarily.
have the option to keep it.
You know what I
And
mean? I don't
so,
know.
Right. But
Does
it doesn't, they don't keep it unless you say yes.
oh,
I
okay,
It
never.
will send a message saying that so and so is trying to save a disappearing message. Do you want them to do it? Yes or no? And you say no.
okay. Because if I didn't have,
No, it doesn't do it with no. You need to. That's what it says. It says disappearing message if the sender consents.
okay,
Like,
sender
like I
consent. Okay,
said, you
got
got to monitor your snacks.
But you don't have to monitor it because it'll pop up. You
it.
know how you
Right,
get a notification for Instagram that so and so went
Mhm.
live, or it'll just pop up like that.
right, and that's better because I'm like if they can just okay,
No,
I'm
no,
good
no, no,
now.
no. Mm-mm.
And I only
No.
use WhatsApp for when people that I'm talking to is out of the country. I'm not
Mhm.
using WhatsApp
Right,
on a daily basis.
right.
You know.
So, Meta says this gives senders the ability to veto a recipient's attempt to save a message. Here's the quote: "If you've decided your message can't be kept by others, your decision is final. No one else can keep it, and the message will be deleted when the timer expires.
Okay.
If you decide to save a message you receive and the sender is okay with that, then it will have a bookmark icon on it, and you'll be able to see them in your kept messages folder. This feature is rolling out globally in the next few weeks."
Okay, I have a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Okay.
I, after I give it permission to be saved, can I rescind that and say I don't want you to just go ahead and delete
To
it out?
have it anymore?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Maybe there's an option to toggle it, and you can say, "Well, I changed my like a week later, I changed my mind," and go in and bloop, and then it disappears. Because
Yeah.
see, the sender has the control.
Right.
Mhm.
This reminds me of Mission Impossible. They gonna send you a message. This message will self-destruct,
Like it.
and
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you write it down or something if you want to keep it because it's going. And I understand.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you screenshot stuff
Of
off of
course.
WhatsApp?
Yes.
Oh, WhatsApp? I don't know. That's a good question.
Oh, we should try it. I can't try it
It's a
with this phone.
disappearing message. So,
Can you? We should. I don't know if I have WhatsApp. I don't know if it's on
but
right
see,
now.
here's the deal with Snapchat and some features in Instagram. If you take a Snapchat, it alerts. I mean, a Snapchat. If you take a
Take a
screenshot, it
screenshot.
will alert the person that owns the message, that owns it.
Mhm.
Right, but
So,
I would like to test that theory. You know what I
yeah, you
mean?
should. But
Okay.
it won't be an anonymous thing. Like the other person will know that you took a screenshot.
Yeah.
Right, but that's fine. But the
Right.
point is, I still took the
You
screenshot, and
still
they can't do nothing
captured
about it.
the information.
Right. Well, that's a good question. They didn't put that in here, so we
Since they're
shall
trying to be so
see.
secretive. Yeah.
So
All right.
here's the
Oh,
thing:
go ahead.
anything that you put out there, expect somebody to find it,
I
because
was just gonna say that.
And
you can try and to make it disappear and do all of that, whatever. When you put it out,
You
it's out
don't want it to live forever. If you don't want it to be seen by people outside of the circle you share it with, think twice about it and call them up on the phone and tell them verbally.
there. Yes, because they'll have to remember that.
Yeah, there you go. Problem solved.
No written proof around. Okay.
All right, so let's move on to Twitter.
Mm.
Ooh, Twitter. Okay, Twitter has removed legacy blue ticks. So Musk has followed through on his threat to remove all of the 400,000 or so previously verified check marks that had been allocated in the app before the arrival of Twitter Blue. So that means right now, if you see a blue check mark, it's somebody that paid for Twitter Blue, regardless of legacy or whatever. Now here's the thing. There's gold check marks for brands. Remember that? So Twitter gifted these new gold check marks to its top 500 advertisers, as well as the top 10,000 most followed organization in the app. But some things there's some thing going on with, say, personalities. Like, for example, LeBron James, who said he wasn't going to pay. Stephen King said he wasn't going to pay, and a couple others. So Elon said that, those two and a few others get to keep their blue check because he's going to pay their bill. He's going to pay the $8 a month.
Is
so
that
LeBron
what's
still
going
has his. Stephen King but Stephen King tweeted, he says that he doesn't want it. And if it says that he did something he didn't do, it was something about a phone number and an email. He's like, I didn't do that. He's like, I got nothing to do with this blue thing on my profile. Also, there was a lot of talk because Beyonce doesn't have one. Alicia Keys doesn't have one. They went through the list of like who doesn't have one. Well, those people don't care because they're not on Twitter anyway. That's just a place to put things as an afterthought. So they don't really care. They're not paying. A lot of the other news organizations are not paying because, one, they're cutting back on staff, and two, they're not gonna pay that bill. So they don't really care.
Dr. Tachi?
This is one time when I would take the celebrities' lead on things. If anybody needs to have some kind of differentiation between who's real and who's not, it's normal people and celebrities. But if they don't give a damn, why should we? This blue check, red light, green light is all nonsense.
It is.
Damn platform. It doesn't mean anything anymore because now you can pay for it. To me, this is tantamount to paying for followers. It's the same thing.
Yes.
You're paying for clouds.
It is. You're right. You're absolutely right. Which is why they were making a big deal. Oh, Beyonce lost a check. Beyonce don't care. She didn't even know she had one. She doesn't care about that.
She ain't the one running her social media.
And anyway, the people, her fans know where to find her real stuff is on Instagram. But that's just one of the things. They know where to find you if they, So now we're getting into and this is one of the discussions we had about Instagram and paying for Meta Verified. Is because there are a lot of people there that run their businesses, and they've gotten a lot of scam bots followers pretending to be them, scamming money customers away from the real deal. So that's why some of them, and I understand, because one guy explained it. He says, because I get so many copycat people and he's selling products and things and services, those people are going to buy from the fake thing and think it's him. And then they come to him saying, I bought this, that, and the other. He's like, well, if that's why he has the blue check. Like, if you don't see the blue check, that's not me. I understand that kind of thing because that's business related. But if you're talking about Twitter Blue, and like Dr. Tati says, everybody that pays $8 get a blue check. What does that mean? It devalues that. So if you lost your legacy check, people are like, oh well. A lot of people have said they're going to delete their account. Other people told them don't delete, like famous people, journalists and stuff like that. Don't delete your account. Just keep it there, but don't use it, because then if somebody comes looking for you, you'll be there instead of if you delete your account, that username is available. So
Right.
somebody who wants to scam or whatever
Then
can
they can
sign
take
up as the real person and put the blue check on and pay the $8 and pretend. So there's a lot of it has to do with a lot of impersonation and scamming. That's what it has to do with.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
Go ahead.
yeah. Sorry, I apologize for overstepping.
But not for Twitter. I'm saying for Instagram this works. Not for Twitter. Nobody cares about Twitter.
Right, exactly. But this is another example that I'm thinking about is, and it's making me wonder whether or not eventually will work, and maybe not amongst the notable people because they're like, oh please, right? But as you mentioned, for people that are running businesses where there is the need to have the quote real McCoy, the blue check may be helpful. But it's sort of like with Spirit Airlines. Spirit was the first ones who started charging for baggage, right? And air, and to use the bathroom and all.
Right. Fees for everything. Fees for everything.
Right. So they were the ones that really started with the baggage fees and everything. And my thing was like, at first people were all up and up. It's like, who flies with no bags? Of course we have to have bags. But it's a way to take advantage of the situation where people have to have it. And so they end up paying it. And now because other airlines then followed suit, right? So even with Southwest, even though you get 2 quote free bags, sometimes you may notice that the airfare is a little bit higher. Well, they just folded that into the cost of the airfare. So I'm wondering if at some juncture, this is going to start to be like baggage fees, where for people who are using this for business purposes, it becomes part of the cost of doing business. I don't know. What do you think, Terry, or anybody?
Repeat that because I just saw a breaking tweet and it caught from Elon and it caught my eye. So repeat that for me, just real quick.
The breaking tweet: Elon is eating lunch. Great.
Yeah.
So I was asking if eventually, just like baggage fees are for travelers who desire to travel low cost, using Spirit, is the cost of getting a blue check just going to be the cost of doing business for small businesses or any business that uses social media to either promote or monetize their businesses?
Okay, I got it. Okay,
cost of business.
Right. Okay, I got it. So now that's a good question. So now I brought up the example of Instagram because remember when Verify came out, I said I was going to try it because they said that it was going to boost your post.
Yes.
But they took that out when they brought the trial to the US because they were doing that in New Zealand and Australia and New Zealand. Like if they paid for Meta Verify, they get the customer support and their post get boosted. But they decided not to do that here. And I was like, well, I don't want to pay for that because I don't need to be verified because nobody's impersonating me. I'm not that important person for them to impersonate me and to be fake and try to scam money out of potential customers or clients for me. But for people that are worried about that, that's why I said the discussion that I forgot who it was on Instagram, and he explained it why he bought the check because people are like, oh, you just bought the check, blah 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 blah. He said no, because I get a lot of people set up accounts, profiles with his name, and then they put the little underscore or they do something, but it looks like him because they steal his photo, his avatar. They copy his bio and they make it look word for word the same. So someone searching for him, hearing about it, say they heard about it from somebody else and they didn't get a direct link to his Instagram profile, they would go search and that person might pop up. But if he pays for the verified, it's like an instant visual that this is the real person. So that's why he's doing it as a business owner. Yes, I don't think we have to do that unless we're being impersonated or there's bots or somebody and they're stealing your revenue. That's the key. Are they stealing your revenue? Then you might want to be verified. That might be the cost. Again, with Twitter, I say forget about Twitter. I could care less whether the blue check, this check. Now, I have automated stuff going over there. And I'm just waiting. Like I said, I'm waiting for the car to run out of gas. And it looks like it's slowly getting there because Elon Musk is doing these things and people are like, forget about Twitter. So as a business owner, you have to decide. And then here's another thing, because on YouTube, I watch a lot of videos and from people who they do different things and they say, oh, if you get an email message from me, a WhatsApp message from me, a messenger, or this, or that, a telegram, it's not me because I don't use those things to reach out and sell you. So that's happening a lot on YouTube. But YouTube has a verification process also. I think you have to have 10,000 subscribers and you get a verified check mark. But if you're not at 10K, then people can easily set up a YouTube channel to impersonate you. Especially if they see something where they can, okay, I can pretend to be that person and skim money off of it. So I've heard a lot of people do that. Say, I'm not on WhatsApp, PayPal, this Patreon, blah blah blah. They do it at the beginning of every video. They say that do not listen to them, do not follow them. It is not me. I am not on that thing. I will only. And there's one person that I listened to the chat. She says, I'm only on YouTube and TikTok. She's I'm on the two places, and she said I will never send you an email. I will never reach out to sell you services. So that's what's happening with the verification as a business. So those are that's what I think about it.
All right.
Now, the Elon Musk tweet I just happen to go on Twitter. I don't follow him. I do not care. I just happen to go on to Twitter and do a search. So Elon Musk tweeted at 12:03 today, we've started a Save a Celebrity fund to pay their $8.
Really?
We take this matter very seriously.
So now we go.
So somebody hold on. Somebody replied to him, says, even though I'm not, he said this is gonna be a good solution, even though I'm not sure if you're serious. And then he tweets back, it's a real thing. So one, I don't follow Elon Musk. I don't really care if he's joking or not, but this is his latest tweet about the Twitter Blue $8 celebrity thing, because he's got to keep celebrities on the platform. He already pushed everywhere.
I got a question. Does he have a blue check or a gold check? Because
Elon, of course he does.
Okay, I'm just asking because that sounds like somebody else done made up something. So anyway,
no, this is the real thing. No, this is the real guy.
So now we got GoFundMe for Twitter for celebrities.
And Elon Musk has a blue check and he has the blue icon as the owner. He has two things.
Of course.
I don't know because but all of these people got a check, don't have a check. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't follow. I just happened to go in and do a search and it popped up, and I was like, okay.
Help us.
So this is interesting because it follows that there are a lot more charitable things that they could be doing with the money that they don't have, because the whole reason they started the whole blue check, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish program is to raise some funding, right? Because they spent $44 billion to get there that they probably didn't even have.
Well,
he's borrowing this from Tesla as well.
Right. He did not want Twitter, but if he didn't take it, they were going to sue.
Yeah.
He was going to have to pay a whole
lot. He was
lot.
going to lose. Yeah, he was going to lose.
He tried to walk it back forever and it didn't work. So to avoid the lawsuits, which he's already got lawsuits now anyway, so it just might end up to the same thing. I don't know. But the money could have been better spent on charitable things to be in terms of corporate responsibility rather than spending it for celebrities. So the other thing is it really shows that I don't want to say he's not playing with the full deck, but he's not all
there. Say it. No, say it. Say it. It's true. He's not all there.
But it's true. But it also has to do, and everybody's syndrome, Asperger's syndrome, affects them differently. But he also has Asperger's syndrome.
Right.
He's like displaying classic signs of things, and it's like when it's left unchecked, and because of who he is, nobody says anything, right?
Right, because
So
he's had success. Right, he had success. He built PayPal. Right, Tesla, and so people look at that. I don't look at that. I look at all the other stuff that he's doing. I'm like, that don't make no sense. He's a
and I
genius.
think that many people are looking at that. Twitter has become his Achilles heel. Nobody really thinks about Tesla in terms of the things they're doing with solar, in terms of the phenomenal electric vehicles, in terms of the Hyperloop, all the different things that he's been doing with Tesla. You know, everybody thought he was just a little strange with the flamethrower and that the Cybertruck and all those things. But okay, he is doing something in terms of that. But now, really, when you hear Musk, you hear Twitter, and it's not going well. So, but I don't know that he really necessarily cares that things are being tarnished, or that he comprehends that his legacy is being tarnished.
Well, I don't think he cares about the legacy.
Or 5, whatever it is.
I don't think he cares about his legacy. I know he cares about his money because he lost like $12 billion yesterday when that rocket blew up.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
So you know, he's an enigma wrapped in a puzzle, wrapped in a whatever, and I'm like, I don't care to figure him out. I just don't want him to be dangerous. And he's this Neuralink thing, that's dangerous. But you know, that's another discussion. We'll get down there. But I'm like, I just was like, Twitter, like you said, Twitter's a non-entity now, and it's like he bought the thing, and now he's just, you know, he bought a stuffed animal called Twitter, and he's just pulling the stuffing out, throwing it away. Doesn't care, because one, he didn't use all of his money. It's Saudi funded, so it's not all of his money that he used. So there's that component, and we might want to politically look at that, draw your own conclusions. But that's what's going on. What he's doing doesn't make sense if you're trying to run it as a CEO that's trying to grow a business. He's not running it that way, so that's why I don't pay attention to him at all. So.
You think he's just trying to write it in the ground so he can write it off?
That's one thing. Then think about who gave him some money, and what do they want for their money? What do the Saudis want for their money in regards to Twitter? Go back to the Arab Spring, all that stuff. So his actions don't add up to someone who's like a CEO that's trying to run a business like Jeff Bezos. He's not acting like that kind of CEO.
This is a company he didn't want.
He didn't want it.
And so you will do stuff in your mind. If it's something you don't want, you're going to figure out a way to self-sabotage it.
I didn't want
it. You understand what I mean? This is inherent in all of us. I really don't want this. And you will subconsciously push it away.
Yeah, like an arranged marriage that you forced into an arranged marriage, and you found out, okay, I can't make it work. So,
right, Dr. Tachi.
Well, yeah, that's an excellent point. The case in point being that he's already dismantled, pushed away so many engineers and people that work for Twitter, and dismantled the entire media team, right? The PR team rather. So he's not interested in good image. He's because he doesn't want this. But the interesting thing is, I mean, and this is where the delusion lies. The fact that you think you can do all of this and it won't have, it feels like he's untouchable. Like this won't affect him reputation-wise or any other way. And maybe it won't, because history has shown that people like Elon, when they do these stupid things, they get rewarded in many different ways. But I think there is delusion there, and it will be interesting to see what the blowback is, because it's not going to end there with Twitter. So Twitter blows up. It already, in my opinion, has blown up, and then he moves on to something else, right? He writes it off as a loss. Oh, I'm sorry, we have to close it because he didn't do the right thing. He takes a write-off, but he's not one that can sit down and do nothing. There's going to be something else. millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires don't use their own money to do things.
Right.
Is he going to be able to secure funding to do his next thing?
Right. Right. So, like I said, he's an enigma wrapped in a puzzle, wrapped into this, wrapped into that. And you all know my feelings. As soon as this was last year, I said this is done. People are like, oh no, Twitter's fine. Well, here we are. It's a car that had a full tank of gas, and there's no gas stations to fill up anymore. So he's just rolling along. He got rid of 75% of the workforce. There was something this week. Some of the Twitter employees were saying that the reason why, and I have to find it, but I'm just paraphrasing. The reason why is Twitter still rolling is because of the excellent way it was set up by them in the beginning. Like they left it making sure that everything okay. That's why it's still running. That's why it didn't immediately fall off a cliff. It's coasting because of the way that it was engineered and set up by them. I have to find the article, and I was like, that explains it to me. That it's been well engineered, well set up. And when they left, it was still, everything was rolling and oiled, and everything was in the right spot for it to continue without the all of the workers. So, but that just says there's a point where it will stop because all those people are gone, and he hasn't, put people in the right people in place to do things. So that, I thought that was a good interview. I have to find it, but Twitter is a place where it's not necessary, and every week Musk does something to show that it's not necessary for us business owners, the MAGA people and the this people and the that people and the people that like to do Discord and hate speech, and they're loving it. It's their playground, and guess what? They can have it because that car is going to Thelma and Louise off of a cliff. It will. It's just it hasn't gotten to the edge yet. So.
She said Thelma and Louise.
It's going to Thelma and Louise. It's just coasting on momentum now. So it's a place we don't have to spend. I don't spend 1 second of thought about Twitter unless I read a story and they go, oh, Elon does this and Elon that. I'm like, I can care less what that man does. So there are people that were. Go ahead.
Oh, really quickly, it's also the type. That's not the type of place you want to be, where it's a wild west and anything is allowable. Because then it becomes what was the thing? The basket of deplorables.
Yes, the basket. That's the perfect analogy. Yeah, that's the perfect one. Yeah, that's it. Let me read this tweet and we'll move on because I just happened to go in and look. So this is this is an idea of the discussion that's going on about this Twitter blue. So somebody called themselves Cat something, which I won't say, and they have a blue check that they bought. Hollywood celebrities are showing exactly who they are right now: arrogant, elitist snobs worth $200 million who won't pay $8 because they think they're better than everyone else. And then a response was they're really upset that everyday folks like us have access to the same status as them. They need to feel superior. Well, there is no status anymore because those people took their toys and left. So the status people who you call elite or whatever that think you're better than the regular folks, which some of them do not, they packed up their toys and left. So you got your little blue check. It doesn't mean anything anymore. So you got your little blue check. Plus, you're the fool because you're giving him $8 for nothing. What are you getting out of it?
My thing is, what do you really do that is, and this is not a judgment call, but what is it that you do that is so important that you have to differentiate yourself from another Brian Toolshed out there? Is there another one that does nothing, or is it just you? So, I mean, that's what people have to look at. I see you doing that if there is a reason for it, but there are some people who are doing it because they can. And my thing is, like I absolutely refuse, and I'm not trying to say that I'm like anybody one of importance, but all of us, any of us in this live streaming arena that have been doing things, we're journalists, we're doing things, so we absolutely could do that and should have one. but it's like not at the expense of everybody getting it, because it's not special and it doesn't mean anything anymore. So I just don't get the people. It's the FOMO. Now they can get it, but guess what? Like you said, the notables and celebrities took their coins and left, and it really doesn't mean anything, Brian Toolshed. I'm sorry for you.
So that's why I say I leave Twitter to those who they're pigs in the mud. They're loving it now. So let them have fun. Bye. Everybody else is left, leaving, that kind of thing. All right, so let's one more thing about Twitter. Twitter alternative Blue Sky is coming to Android. So Blue Sky is a decentralized Twitter alternative by what's his name? Jack. What's his last name? I don't have it in the story, but the guy that started Twitter that left. Dorsey, that's it. Thanks. So it's been released on Android. It had its initial launch on iOS back in February. It currently remains invite only. But it's growing fast, and they're now is, and it actually is this is their words from the story, a reskinned version of the classic Twitter UI, which means the look of it, the feel of it is Twitter-like. That's very important for people who like Twitter, because you feel more comfortable in a new house that has the similar feeling from your first house. Okay, so that's what they're doing. Blue Sky is built on a decentralized framework, and it's based on servers. You have to join servers, which I'm not a fan of, because I don't use Mastodon and all that.
No.
Yeah. So, but decentralized is a word, that comes from the blockchain and all that, which is where we're going to be going, but not just yet. It's too confusing. I like it simple and easy, so that's why I'm on Spoutable. But here's a quote. We're focusing on rebuilding the social web by connecting disconnected silos and returning control of the social experience to users. Our mission is to develop and drive the adoption of technologies for open and decentralized public conversation. Okay, so they're looking at that end of it. But see, that doesn't make it easy for users who don't know what decentralization is. They don't know what cryptocurrency is about. They don't know what blockchain. They don't know any of that stuff. So when they don't know, they don't use. So again, what do I say? What's the purpose of the app? Daily active users and money, revenue. So we'll see. But that's what's going on with Blue Sky. And let me get one more. So Google employees label AI chatbot Bard worse than useless and a pathological liar. Google employees have tested Bard pre-release, and then they were asked for their feedback. The feedback was ignored, so Google could put Bard out quicker, because there's a race between them and Microsoft and OpenAI. So internal discussions called Bard cringeworthy and a pathological liar. When asked how to land a plane, it gave incorrect instructions that would lead to a crash. Somebody asked scuba instructions, and so the things that they were tested, because see, they have to ask it and test it, that the things were coming back incorrect, and we know that's one of the issues. So one employee said, Bard is worse than useless. Please do not launch. So we could, this is what's going on, because Google is far behind ChatGPT, OpenAI. They have lost their footing in the race. Microsoft ahead of them, so they decided to put this Bard out, which I don't, I'm not happy with it. I don't use it. But that's just, what I think about it. So that's what's going on with Google and Bard.
Wow.
Anything about that?
Good for them.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what they get. And it's interesting. I just watched, or not watched, but read an article in Wired, and I cannot remember her name. But remember, two years ago, there was a black AI engineer that was basically ousted because she was raising concerns and research papers about the possible discriminatory nature of AI, and
Right.
Google really didn't want to hear it. And so it's horrible the things that happened. It was like like several pages long, and I just read that this morning. And I remember hearing about it, but I didn't know the detail until I read it this morning. And so all I have to say is, Google, good for you. That's exactly what you get. When things don't work out, there's a reason behind it. There's a reason for it.
Right.
I mean, by ousting her and the other person that was with her at the head, you basically cut off the head of their entire AI team at the time that happened.
Right.
So you're wondering why now you're not getting anything anywhere. You always have to have that ethical component to anything that you do, particularly with machine learning. But you didn't want to hear it because you're just concerned with money. So Google, I say, good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So they put out an inferior product and they get what they get. So I would say Bard is a non-factor for me. So it's a non-factor. All right, I got one more. Instagram takes on Linktree and others. They put support for up to 5 links in the bio. Have you heard of this? Instagram went crazy this week because now on your Instagram profile, instead of having one call to action, you can have up to 5.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that was smart of them because because people was definitely using the LinkedIn bio and
Linktree, there's a whole bunch of them.
Everything else like that, because
right. So Meta announced on Tuesday that it will allow users to add up to 5 links to their Instagram profile bios, which can direct their followers to other content. Meta says the feature has been a top request among creators and is something they wanted to do, so they're putting it in to play. So Meta says users are allowed to link to any URL that abides by its community guidelines in terms of service, and links are scanned to ensure they are within those guidelines and not harmful. However, the links don't open the website in question in a separate browser window. The links open inside the Instagram app.
No, it does.
Yeah, we kind of figured that was going to be
right. So it was a feature that was one of the most requested, so they decided to give it to users.
And they didn't put it with a check?
Exactly. And you don't have to pay for it.
They should have put that in Meta Verified.
Okay, Terry, don't tell them. Don't tell them nothing.
I'm just saying, if they're really concerned about revenue, that would have been the perfect place to put it.
Man, we finally get one where we let them.
Now I'm saying for financial bottom line for Meta, because they're really hurting because they let go some like 4,000 this week, and there's talk of more next week. Meta.
Well, so maybe this is a goodwill toward the people.
I don't know, but a lot of people are happy about it.
Yeah, you're trying to show.
TJ, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Dr.
Go ahead.
What took them so long to do it just feels like, and I don't want, I'm really not trying, I really do want people to win. Although my outward appearance and facial expression and what I say makes it seem like I don't want people to win, but I really do want these people to win. But it seems like Instagram is forever Janiqua come lately when it comes to these things. When it came to having more than one person on a live, everybody else did it, and then you decided to do it when you wanted to.
Right.
Everybody else has an open API.
Right.
You now allow people to use an encoder, but it's so poor in quality that I'm like, don't even bother with it. And now you've got this, but what took them so long?
Well, remember what I say, an app lives by daily active users and revenue. So everything that Instagram is doing is to keep you on the app. That's their they want money, but they also want to keep you on the app. So giving you this cuts out Linktree and all the others, and you stay within the LinkedIn, Instagram ecosystem.
But yeah, and that makes sense.
Mhm.
But all you have to do is look at something like, okay, like who they want to be in their dreams, TikTok.
Yeah.
So if you look at the parent company ByteDance and the things that they have done,
Mhm.
yeah, TikTok is part of that ecosystem. But guess what? If you want to edit your videos, if you want to edit them in the TikTok style, you use what? CapCut. So
Yeah.
they're adding all of these other tandem services that still
Mhm.
keep you in the ecosystem. So it
Right.
doesn't even matter if you're not on the app, you're still in the ecosystem. If
Right.
they were thinking, what they would have done is, well, no, you can still only have one link here, but guess what? We have this product that allows you to extend the amount of. Why didn't they make a link tree? Huh?
Ooh, what a concept.
Yeah. And you also got to realize that internally, as far as leadership, we don't know what's going on, whether it's chaotic or strategic. We don't know. But I'm thinking, just by, like you said, what Instagram does, I call them throw the spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks kind of leadership. So that could explain the reason why, like you said, what took them so long. Because it's this internal thing going on Instagram, and I base that on when the two founders left. I think remember we talked about that was a few years ago, that when they left, I was like, oh, that's not good. So this is another sign of they don't know what they're doing internally. So this is probably why it took so long to come, but it's made users happy. So that's what's going on with Instagram.
Whew,
okay.
Boy.
And that's your week in social media news.
Okay. So I have my question.
Yes. Oh, I forgot. Go ahead.
Yeah, and this is to everybody because it's not necessarily social media. Yesterday, I was at a networking event and I went to help this lady. We were scanning digital cards or something.
Mm-hmm.
She has an Android phone.
Mm-hmm.
On the bottom of her phone was an ad. Like, if you push the little plus button, it was an ad, literally an ad, like you see when you're playing a game on your phone, and you have ads that kind of roll up all the time. I'm like, why is there an ad on your phone? This is within the phone. We're trying to do a function in the phone, and there's an ad along the bottom. Somebody please explain to me, why is this a thing?
And this was inside of an app, or just she opened the phone?
It was just her phone.
It was her phone, and there's an ad running on the bottom of her phone.
Because I'm looking, I got an Android. I'm looking, I don't see any ads.
Okay, so maybe she need to turn them off or something. But it was an ad, and another lady that when I went to go help her do something, I had to swipe past an ad before I could get to her home screen.
See, this is the thing: was her phone? Was it Samsung, or was it something else? Because this one I have, I believe it's Samsung.
I don't know.
Remember, Android, they have Samsung, and it's based on the phone.
Okay, so the phone can put ads on.
What she has, I don't know. I'm just saying that I have the Samsung phone, and I know there's stuff in here that's Samsung branded, but there's no ads. And I know with Android, it depends on the phone and Google. Like, it's not just straight Google unless you buy a Google phone from Google. Then it's straight Google. But if you get a Samsung or you get whatever other thousands of brands of Android, it might be that brand that did it.
Oh, okay. Samsung says get rid of pop-up ads on your Galaxy phone. I'm like, why is there ads on the phone?
I don't see any pop-ups.
Okay, and then because under Samsung it says, why am I suddenly getting ads on my Android phone? I just Googled. I should have in the beginning. Pop-up ads have nothing to do with the phone itself. They are caused by third-party apps installed on your phone.
See, there you go. Something third-party.
Third-party apps. But this
that means it's not
all she did was open her phone.
But it's an app that's installed that's doing that. It's an app that's going on as soon as she turns on the phone. That's the third-party app that's doing it.
Wow.
So she needs to close that app. Probably she probably got
Well,
the
she's
What app is it? It could be usually it's a weather phone or some weather app or some kind of I'm your assistant kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually that, because I remember way back when I was still doing supporting Windows, and it was like, oh, I got to call the user, oh, I got a problem, da 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 da, and we found out it was something called the Weather Bug app, that thing that they installed on their phone that sat in the
background.
background, but on the bottom, what's the thing on the bottom in Windows? The tray or whatever on the
tray.
Windows, it would
Yeah.
sit, the status bar at the bottom, it would sit there along with the time and everything, and it would wreak havoc on other things. So we just like, you can't use that weather bug thing. So that's how we figured out what was going on. It was this weather bug thing that people that were downloading because they wanted the weather to pop up at the bottom of the screen or whatever. So it could be something like that she installed,
or
and it took over the operating system.
Or she probably doesn't know that it was installed. And sometimes when you get it set up at the store, they install apps too. You understand what I'm saying? Not anyway. There is a YouTube. It says how to stop ads in any Android phone 2023. So there's a way out if that is happening to you. I couldn't do what we needed to do because of the ad.
Right. So see, this is the thing. You have to realize, if as an Android user, these are things that you have to be aware of that can happen to you.
I think I'm spoiled because I'm like, what is this?
Right, because when you have Apple, you have Apple. They tell you this, that, and that, and they don't put things on, and they have the thing pop up say ask app, not a lot of things. But see, as an Android, because there's so many manufacturers of Android phones, and then they go in partnership with Google with the Android OS, and then they get to do different things because they're the manufacturer of this phone and that phone, and they get to. So you have to be aware.
I think this too should let us know why a lot of times people have tech phobia. They're like, it has been so painful dealing with yada yada yada. Please don't touch my phone. Please don't make it do. Please don't, because they just spastic from all of the trauma. So let's be a little more compassionate with people.
Okay.
Because we don't go through it. And so, you know what I'm saying?
What is, and I'm literally, I thought maybe I can just swipe past it, and it's like, this ain't working.
No, that thing was designed the wrong. As soon as the phone turns on, bloop. Startup.
Running in the background.
Startup app. Running in the background.
Wow. Okay.
Not fun. Dr. Tachi, you are up.
Well, good. It's afternoon. Good afternoon. Let's talk about some of the things that are happening in media this week. Let's have a few stories. So I'm sure you all heard that the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, could possibly be striking. And if that happens, you could say goodbye to some shows, maybe not permanently, but for at least, the fall season. So what kind of shows will go first? Excuse me, if a writer's strike does happen, well, for example, your favorite late night shows would go away if they can't cut a deal with studios by May 1st. So both sides can't reach an agreement. This will result in the first work stoppage by the WGA in 15 years. So, in a
can I say, Dr. Tachi, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
That what you just said about the late night shows, a lot of people don't know that they're scripted. They think they're not.
Yeah.
So that, I just want to bring that up.
They have writers. There are huge writers' rooms for those shows. Do you think that the monologues and things write themselves? No. Yeah, so you're absolutely right. So definitely those will be going away. And so if it does happen and there is a strike in May, that's going to affect the fall television season. So that season contributes a third of all episodes produced the fall, including 45% of the episodes produced by legacy media companies Disney, Paramount Global, and Comcast NBC Universal. So streaming platforms that have lots to flip through in terms of their libraries would not be safe either, because platforms that carry broadcast shows would be also experiencing delays as writing on a new show ends. So they would be experiencing delays too. So they're not in the clear either. So this is what the WGA said. Immediately, I have to say that stronger. New episodes of late night shows, including Jimmy Kimmel Live, The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon, Real Time with Bill Maher, Late Night with Seth Meyers, Saturday Night Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and others would cease.
Wow.
That's a big chunk. That's a big chunk of television late night.
Yes.
Especially network television, right? So that's going to be interesting. So this is what writers are seeking: increased pay, particularly from streaming residuals, and new regulations on working conditions. So they're seeking to have pay increases and other changes to the contract valued at nearly $600 million at a time when studios are also being affected by cutbacks and layoffs, and many are also under pressure to make their streaming services more profitable. So this is going to be interesting. Go ahead.
Is this a good time for a strike with Chat GPT and stuff? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if this is well timed, unless they're seeking some protections from Chat GTP. You know what I mean? That it must be human generated or something. What are they asking for other than money?
So, but this is the interesting thing. There are some. There has been some conversation about this, and scripts using Chat GPT or AI writing tools are allowed, but there are some stipulations with what you can do with it. So that conversation is already happening, and I don't think it's fair to them, to the writers, to hold off on something that they think that they need to do their jobs better, because there could be the possibility of a machine taking over their job, which they can't do. AI is not at that point. You saw I was up in arms last week because you couldn't even simply, when I asked you to do something, produce diversity. I had to specifically put that in for you to be diverse, which is terrible. So it's not at a point now, and it's not at a point for this season where that will be an issue. So people go, oh, ChatGPT. No, ChatGPT cannot write. You can sit there and put in the prompt, write a half-hour sitcom on XYZ, but it's still not going to have the heart and the thought process that a writer would be.
Okay. Right.
Or a writer would have, I would say.
Right.
Okay, so they don't feel challenged by this. Okay.
No, I'm sure there are some that may feel challenged, but the thing is, they have the stick together thing. So if all the writers say, well, we're striking, and studios and say, oh, well, we'll just use ChatGPT, do you know what a horrible television season that would be?
Well, we'd find out.
We will be so lackluster. And again, I keep bringing up the example of last week, but there are shows, for example, that are by people of color. So can you imagine? Just take a show like Abbott Elementary, right? Abbott Elementary has a very large black cast, right? So imagine trying to write things from the perspective of somebody who went to or works in the Philadelphia public school system. That doesn't really it's not going to work. You're going off of allegory of what's already either on the web or what you've been able to learn about it. And let's not remember that ChatGPT still only stops at 2021. So there are things that are not going to be right. So who's going to sit there and go scrub through all of that script to say, oh, yeah, no, Method Man is not the big thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's going to do that. So we would end up with a lot of mechanical sounding scripts, which would produce mechanical sounding and looking shows.
Right.
My opinion, anyway.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Thank
and
you.
just to quickly add to that, I think it's like with any field. If you just put out the blanket statement, for example, well, ChatGPT can do this, or AI could do this. I think everybody in every field has something to say about why it cannot do that, but it can be used as a tool. So the Writers Guild, again, is saying it can be used as a tool, but to take over and write an entire script, I don't think that that's something it's capable of, especially not right now.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Thank
So,
you. Thank you for clarifying, because I'm like, wow. Okay.
yeah, no, absolutely. But it does certainly give you things to think about, because ChatGPT was not a thing the last writer's strike. So
Exactly.
So let's talk about Disney, shall we? I know we have some Disney fans here. Disney is welcoming their first major character with Down syndrome in the Peter Pan film.
No.
So, yeah, which is interesting, because they're really striking gold with this diversity thing. They are trying. They are trying with this diversity thing. And that's because there have been allegations in the past levied at them that they were not trying with the diversity thing. In fact, that's the whole reason. If you look, what is the ride at Disneyland that they are dismantling? Was it a Song of the South ride?
I think it's that.
Oh, wow.
I think they dismantled that one at least 2 years ago. But there's another one, and I can't remember which one it is now, but it's being replaced with the, Princess Tiana and the Princess and the Frog. So it's going to be a Princess and the Frog experience instead of the the one that it was before, which I can't remember right now. But there again, because of theme parks, because of stories, because of all these other things they have had levied at them in the past, it really is to their advantage to diversify. And here's the thing. For businesses, diversity sells. Who does not want to see themselves on screen? I don't understand why in this day and age you still have to explain to executives why this is viable. And why we still have to say, oh, well, everybody make sure you go to the theater so they know that this matters. Even if nobody goes, we matter, okay? So
Yeah.
that's a whole other kettle of fish. But the point is that Disney has been really trying to diversify as of late. So Noah Matthews Matofsky, or I think he said it, Matofsky, is a 15-year-old actor and model who has Down syndrome, and he plays the leader of the Lost Boys named Slightly. So his casting makes him the first actor with Down syndrome to be enlisted for a lead role in a Disney feature film.
Oh.
So he underwent a really tough audition process. He went head-to-head with thousands of other young actors, and finally he was hired for the role of Captain of the Lost Boys.
Oh, good.
So, yes, and he is actually from West Sussex, Southern England, and he told The Sun that being a part of the filming process was an amazing experience, and that he was most delighted about his sword fighting lessons, and that he got his own trailer.
That's cute.
So I think that is absolutely amazing. And he says that several people have already asked for his autograph. He said, I'm a bit of a hero. And I think that's absolutely amazing. Movies, television should reflect life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that is life. The days before, obviously people who had genetic conditions, who were disabled in some sort of way, they were shut away. And television, when you look at old TV, you don't even realize that there were any people that were not
perfect.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even want to say perfect, because that implies that if you have a disability, that you have this perfection. No, not at all. But you were not, that you were not that you did not have a disability, right? And I think everybody has some kind of condition or disability to some extent, some more severe than other people do. But that needs to be reflected in television and in film, in the metaverse and AI. It needs to happen. So I'm glad to hear that, and congrats, Disney. And that's not the last time. So great. Let's talk more about Disney unless somebody else has something to say.
No.
Keep going.
Well, since you may have hired, your first person with Down syndrome and made inroads in that, but at the same time, they are laying off people because on Monday, starting Monday, the Disney layoffs are going to resume. So it was originally described as a big one, or basically a straight up bloodbath. But either way, most of the layoffs at Disney are expected to begin Monday. From April 24th through the 27th, there will be employees in film and TV losing their jobs every single day except Friday.
Wow.
Yeah. So anxiety is high, and that's an understatement. Everyone who works at the Buena Vista Street in Burbank is on high alert, wondering whether their numbers. Oh, and I know somebody that works at Disney. I need to make sure everything is okay with her. So this is what's happening. They say this. There's a sense of foreboding that the cuts are going to be wide, large scale, and very meaningful, an industry source said, and noting that low company morale. That company morale is low right now, at least amid persistent rumors that at least one person from each department would have to go. And sweeping layoffs are among the first major moves for Bob Iger since his surprise return to Disney in late November. And another film exec says this: "It sucks, to be honest. Iger coming back got everyone's hope up for investment in people as well as creativity. Truth is, if you're not operating a ride at the parks, you could be on the chopping block.
Wow.
And the worst part is still not knowing who's being let go, no matter how much time you put in."
Right.
Wow.
Whew. That's rough.
That's tough. It is.
It is. It's rough anytime, in any field when people are let go. I still, and it's probably very idealistic on my part, but I still say, do you have to make as much as you purport that you need? Now, on one hand, yes, because if you're publicly traded, you're answering to investors and they want to see their money. And that cuts into profits and things that you have, right? Because it's divided. So I guess the short answer to that is yes. But then when times are not good, then you affect other people's livelihood, which is not cool. The mouse is supposed to be a happy character. Disney is the happiest place on earth? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, one final thing about this: the second, much bigger wave of layoffs that will happen starting Monday will get Disney close to the 7,000 goal they hear of reducing the workforce by about 7,000 employees. So that tells you that is a very large organization if you're letting go of 7,000 people. But it's also going to be interesting to see how that affects content, right, as well. So there are going to be a lot of people maybe doubling and tripling up on jobs, things cut, that departments cut, and I'm wondering if we'll see this in their programming. So we shall see. Guess who else is laying off? BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed News is being shut down. So they're laying off 15% of staff and shutting down the Pulitzer Prize winning newsroom, which I'm like, okay. So this shutdown is happening as part of a new wave of layoffs at the company. They're looking to reduce their workforce, like I said, by 15%. And this is what was said: while layoffs are occurring across nearly every division, we've determined that the company can no longer continue to fund BuzzFeed News as a standalone organization. This is according to The Verge. And they said they would focus on HuffPost, which they acquired in 2020, as the company's news brand because the publication is both profitable with a loyal direct front page audience. Both HuffPost and BuzzFeed plan to open a number of select roles for BuzzFeed News staffers. So I guess the thing is there's replication when you have HuffPost and you have BuzzFeed News. So I guess the consolidation does make sense, but I will say this as well. HuffPost reaches a different audience than BuzzFeed News does. BuzzFeed News watchers tend to be younger. They tend to be more millennial, Gen Z-ish, right?
Okay.
And some Gen Z, whereas HuffPost is more of a legacy publication, and so you get older generations of readers that participate in HuffPost. So it's not, in my opinion, necessarily the same thing. I would love to talk to somebody there to find out more about that decision and why one versus the other. Are you then looking at trying to draw in an older crowd as opposed to the younger crowd? Maybe that's their strategy, but we'll see. Any thoughts?
I hadn't heard from Huffington Post in a while.
Me either.
And so I'm thinking, okay, maybe it needs to go with BuzzFeed and not the other way around, because I'm like, I haven't heard anything from Huffington Post lately.
I thought they closed down.
I thought something was going on, but I had not heard.
Yeah, well, what happened is they acquired them, and in a way, when you don't hear, it's like they're either pivoting or they're bungling the whole thing. So some of these acquisitions by companies do well, and they fit within the culture of what that they're trying to create. Some of them are just bungled terribly. All you have to do is look at Twitter and Vine, Twitter and Periscope, Twitter and anything, basically. But if you look at that, you acquire companies and isn't really doing what it purports to do. I don't know. So more on that as I get more information. Okay, I just have a couple of more stories. And Apple has released Frog and Toad, the trailer for the animated series based on the classic books. Have you all ever read Frog and Toad?
I don't think so.
Okay. Frog and Toad. So it's interesting. So the synopsis by Apple TV Plus is Frog is a frog, Toad is a toad. They have a lot in common, but they're also very different. So it's an animated series. It follows two best friends who bond over their similarities while also embracing their differences. This is what they say. Since our differences are what makes us special, Frog and Toad celebrate what makes them unique. And that's in the description as well. So the trailer is going, or as noted in the trailer, the show is going to feature some very nostalgic artwork that mirrors the illustrations in the 4-book series. And again, this is an adaptation of a book, but it's a HarperCollins children's book spearheaded by Emmy Award winner Rob Poggi, and with studio Titmouse of Big Mouth fame handling the production. So these are some of the prominent voice actors. Nat Faxon from Our Flag Means Death and The Connors will play Frog, while Kevin Michael Richardson from The Simpsons and Family Guy will voice Toad. We also have Tom Kenny, the voice of SpongeBob SquarePants, Ron Funches from Trolls, Fortune Feimeister from Good Fortune and Keenan, Cole Escola at Home with Amy Sedaris, and Aparna Nancherla from The Great North. You can, if you have kids that are interested in Frog and Toad, it will kick off on Apple TV Plus on April 28th. So, two more stories. Dove is pushing to protect teens' mental health online in a new film. So I don't know if you all heard about this, but Dove has always tried to stand against toxic beauty standards. That's their thing. Then they've had several ad campaigns that do that. Some worked, some did not. But they've come up with another push to safeguard teenagers' mental health and self-esteem. And this is in the form of advocating for legislation to regulate social media for youth. And to do this, they launched a new film called The Cost of Beauty, a Dove film. And this details a true story of a teenager who had her mental health negatively impacted by social media. And it also highlights the cost of not enacting meaningful changes in online spaces. Like basically saying, oh yeah, we have an age limit and you have to be at least 13. And then a 12-year-old gets in and says we're 13, that type of thing. So according to the brand's research, 8 in 10 experts agree that social media could be a key factor fueling a mental health crisis, with 80% of young people believing they're addicted to social networks and over 50% claiming that it makes them feel anxious. The findings also show that 7 in 10 teenagers have been exposed to weight loss and body transformation content online. 75% posit that these posts could incite youth into changing their appearances. And even worse, over half of the mental health specialists think viewing this content can lead to real-life consequences, including disordered eating, self-harm, and that's not that far off because 51% of teenagers said they've been exposed to this. So they partnered with singer Lizzo, Common Sense Media, and Parents Act Together action to encourage lawmakers to implement safeguards to protect youth online. And they also have this film, and the film is advocating for this online. So good for Doug. I think it's great. Any effort to protect teenagers online or protect us all online is great. But I'm wondering if it's ever going to be enough. Will it ever be enough? TJ?
I'm sorry, I was muted.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's all right.
Yes, will it ever be enough?
Well,
yeah, the safeguards will ever be enough. Go ahead.
I don't think so, because a lot of that they're going to need to get from their home environment.
Right.
I know that the companies are doing all that they can to bolster it up, but that's coming from the outside.
Mm-hmm.
This needs to come from the inside. And that comes when you are, the people around you are speaking life into you, for lack of a better term, where somebody's encouraging you in your inner circle, your family, because the people on the outside, they don't know the real you.
Right. Right. They're not being supported.
You're right. It does start with environment and
I'm
sorry, TJ, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, and you have to realize a lot are may not have families or support to do that. I think we forget that part.
Right.
Yeah. When we talk about these things and what needs to be done, we often are speaking from a point of privilege, right?
Right.
It's interesting because we do have access to some of these resources, and as TJ said, many people don't. So the result is that even when they talk about, even studies like this, when they talk about such and such teenage, okay, well, which teenagers did you survey?
Right.
Who did you read out when it comes to these types of things?
Right.
And, when they talk about, oh, well, Gen Z is spending money on X, well, not all Gen Z. Not all Gen Z have money. There are some,
and they're talking to Gen Z kids with family that are in a family situation, not like there's the foster care system. There's the when because they age out and they're just let go, and so I mean a lot of people don't think about that. And when they do these surveys, they're not just pulling anybody. They're going by sample and by demographics and things like that. So they're talking to teenagers who have a family situation going on, like a mother, father, or they're in a situation where they make a certain amount of money, because that's how they do the survey. They're not just picking willy-nilly. They go, okay, this area has that, the demographics that they're looking for. So
yeah, absolutely. So they take a sample out of the population of the entire whatever they're looking for.
Right. And they're not just pulling people off the street.
People who, teenagers that use iPhones to
yes.
Yes. They're looking at the sample size of all teenagers.
Right.
Of all teenagers that do that. So if it's 1,000 people in that area, your sample size might be like 10% or whatever of that. And you generalize that to the entire population.
Right. And realize they have,
So,
access to knowing that a certain area that the house is worth this or the neighborhood is worth that. Uh the median value of
Income.
a home in this
Oh,
area is 500K. They
mhm.
know all that. So they're going that way
yeah,
and they're
absolutely,
picking.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The problem when you do that is that you leave out voices and you leave out some people. And so even if it doesn't have to do with spending money per se, something like this, where it's like, are they affected by social media? Well, they
Mhm.
may not be, but you're using this sample that you took in the suburbs of Milwaukee to generalize it to a teen that may live in downtown Milwaukee, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
So
Right.
it's it's something you have to deal with as a researcher, but interesting. But it's an attempt. So thank you, Doug. So finally, for those of you who love Marmite, and maybe you're pregnant right now, maybe your child might end up liking Marmite too. Do you all know what Marmite is before I keep going?
Mm-mm.
Isn't that something from Australia? I don't know what it's made from, but it's something they put on toast or something. Is
Yeah,
that what it
yeah.
is?
So it's a spread that comes from hops. So it's a byproduct of after you make beer, basically.
Oh,
And it's like the leftover is like kind of like a sweet molassesy type thing.
okay.
Oh,
And so that's Marmite.
Okay.
Um,
oh, okay.
you either love it or you hate it.
Right. Yeah, I've heard of it. I didn't know I didn't know where it was. I
I have
don't know
no
what they
idea.
made it from. I've heard of the term. I just didn't know what they made it from. So,
Yeah. It's a byproduct of hops, basically. Wasted
okay.
on whatnot, I suppose.
Okay.
So, some people it feels like are biologically wired to hate certain things. Uh,
Mm.
but what if your addiction or abhorrence to other foods like Marmite were predestined too? So there's an absurd communications firm that's doing a campaign. They're called Adam and Eve DDB, and it is digging deep into early childhood for the month leading up to birth to further investigate on why Marmite is so controversial. So Marmite is providing 4D ultrasound scans to predict if babies will grow up to love or hate Marmite.
What?
Who cares? But they do because they're selling Marmite. But it comes in line with a previous study of 100 pregnant women whose babies were shown via womb scans to react positively and negatively to certain foods even before they were born. So in the research, the fetuses of these mothers to be who ate kale mostly appeared to be crying, while the babies of women who were made to eat carrots were laughing. So, similarly, in a promotional video, some babies pulled happy faces when their moms had Marmite, but others looked to be disgusted when they had Marmite. So, if you can't wait to find out if they'll fall in love with Marmite, you can take part in one of the scans yourself because they've teamed up with Window to the Womb clinics in the UK to conduct free professional 4D ultrasound examination to the mothers to be today, actually. So if you're in Manchester or Bristol, you'll be given samples of Marmite 20 minutes before the screening, and later on find out if the babies will potentially light up or grimace at the sight of the spread when they're older.
This is weird. Okay.
It's very strange. It's very weird. I want to know what you think about this. So it's a chance for you to get a free 4D scan, but you have to eat Marmite to do it. Would you do it?
No.
And my question is, will that affect my scan? Evidently, they're scanning for, Merrimont. But okay, I think this belongs with the garbage can video.
Yeah.
It's like strange.
Wow.
It is. It's very strange, but I like news of the strange, and I thought this was interesting because advertising is media, advertising uses media, and this is companies forever have always tried to have interesting things. One other company that does things kind of like this in a sense, KFC. KFC never gives me a shortage of stories to talk about from Mediascope because they're always doing something, always. So this is kind of in that same light. Same thing with, you remember TJ when Velveeta had the Velvet Velveteen?
Yep,
it was
I
like
remember.
cheese flavored martini.
Mhm.
Terrible.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Yes,
Oh my gosh.
it's true.
So does this mean we can now curate what our children will like based upon these scans?
No. Just give them the Gerber baby food, man.
Exactly. Or cook some
Yeah,
carrots.
well,
But do they want kale or carrots in their Gerber baby food? You know what I mean?
Just cook some carrots.
We may get some interesting information out of this advertising
Oh, wait.
venture.
But okay, so here's the thing: when the baby got here and you gave them the food and they spit it out, what?
Exactly.
They were telling you they don't like it.
Right.
Did we get this far with the experiment?
Okay, and then so the concoction that they made with the hops is sweet. Most people are going for the sweet. Some people not, but
and it doesn't light up a certain area in your brain. You know, does the dopamine pump up when you get sweets in there? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I'm like,
I mean, I'm just trying to ask: is it rigged?
I don't know.
simply because of the sugar.
The thing is, this is not very scientific because the original sample with not Marmite but the other foods, that was only 100 pregnant women. That's nowhere near enough to determine that this is actually the case. But of course, this is an advertising trick, so it's like, all right, well, it could possibly happen, and it gives exposure to the brand. That's really, at the end of the day, what they care about.
Right.
To the brand. And you have to think about it, like, I've not had Marmite before because it didn't appeal to me to want to try. But I have had, obviously, like malt.
Okay.
Like the malt drinks, they're kind of like a non-alcoholic Guinness. So you could probably think about that. And it's like, it's yeast as well, right? From the hop, it's yeast as well. So it's actually more so the byproduct of the yeast from the hops. So think about a spread that was made of like Guinness stout. That's why you either love it or you hate it.
Okay.
You all don't sound happy. So
no, we are not feeling this. I think for two reasons. One, we're not that familiar with the product. And two, it just sounds like a hoax, you know, it sounds like an advertising gimmick, which is what it is.
and absolutely it. And that is what advertising is, to bring attention to your product however you possibly can in a way that will resonate with people. And a free 4D scan, I guess, resonates with people. And if you have to stomach a little Marmite, hey, I guess that'll work. Better than paying for it yourself, right? So anyway, that's what I have for you this week.
Okay.
Wow. I think I need a sample of Marmite sent to me so I can.
I pass.
You go ahead and take it, Terry.
I like beer. I'm okay with that.
Okay, you tell us how it is, because I'm not eating it.
Me either. No.
So we want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. Dr. Tachi calling in from Fort Lauderdale, Florida?
Correct.
Okay, well, thank you. And TJ, all the way from New York City. Terry and I are here in Sacramento, California. Thank you so much for tuning in, giving us a part of your day. I trust that you got something that you can use for your social media, for your tech, for everything that you got going on in your life. There's got to be something here. So thank you for your time. We just want to say that, you know, you're the best part of this day for us. We really get a kick out of bringing you this information. So as you go on through the rest of your weekend, just, you know, keep us in mind. We'll be back on Monday. You can join the community by texting biz to 33777. You can go to bizchicks.net and join us over on our YouTube community. Click on that link. TJ will be back here on Tuesday to talk to us about digital marketing and social media, everything social media. We got a good dose today. Dr. Tachi, you can find her on Mediascope. And now that we can do our Instagram and have more links and bios, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Up to 5. Up to 5.
So this is that's a game changer. And Terry at California Cover-Ups, check her out if you need something to cover up by the pool, on your way anywhere. You can pair it with jeans, all kind of stuff. CaliforniaCoverups.com. So we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We are here for one reason: to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. So we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.